Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to read this tweet originally from Jason Zweig. Apparently his father told him. He ended up making a webpage for it. I think it's very relevant to financing, to business in general. We're going to go over it real quick. There are 3 ways to make a living. Lie to people who want to be lied to and you'll get rich. Tell the truth to those who want the truth and you'll make a living. Tell the truth to those who want to be lied to and you'll go broke. Now, on the surface, this seems to be very true, right? Which is probably why the tweet was in high demand. But let's examine it a little further. Where do you put yourself in here? I know that I put myself at number 2. And I would harbor a guess that a lot of people are going to put themselves at number 2 as a truth teller. And not as many people are going to put themselves at 1. I would say that most people aren't going to say they're a liar, and they're not going to say that they want to be lied to. Now, I do know a few people, and coincidentally, they do happen to do very well, who would have no qualms saying that they lie to people. Okay, they might even brag about it to me as a friend. But I think in general, most people are not going to say that and put themselves in that category. And when we look at this is building a dichotomy, essentially, right? It's building a dichotomy between truth and lies. Okay, so you have the truth. You have lies. And then there's a dichotomy between people who are telling the truth or lies, and they're listening or wanting the truth and lies. And so essentially it's saying if you want to lie and you tell it to people who want to lie, then you're going to make a lot of money. So tell the lie to people who want lies, you're going to do very well, double cash. Tell the truth to people who want the truth, and you'll do single cash, you'll make a living. And then the coordinate that would go this way, tell the truth to people who want lies, you'll go broke. But I also think it should go this way. Tell lies to people who want the truth, and you'll probably also go broke too. And in general, I think this is true, right? But I think it's also simpler than this. 1 and 2 are basically the same thing, right? And so when we look at this, we don't have to break up truth and lies. We can just have it be tell people what they want to hear, right? It doesn't matter if you're calling it a truth or you're calling it a lie. And in fact, I think that's what's problematic about this is who determines what's a truth and a lie. It's not that easy. It's not that simple. People always talking about something being objectively true, and very few things are actually that way, especially in the world that we truly operate and live in. It just doesn't work like that. Most things are subjective. And if you think of like a philosophy like Hermeticism, when you have 2 opposite sides of the same coin like this, there's an infinite amount of degrees or variance between them, or you could say perspective in this case. So it's like, if I say the sky is blue and you say it's green, I say mine's the truth. You say yours is the truth. Who's telling the truth? Well, that's something probably not as good because maybe you can measure it. But I'm just trying to give you an idea. So really what it is you tell the truth. You tell people what they want to hear and you'll do well. But I think we all will agree, you tell people something they don't want and you're not going to do well, right? You'll go broke. 100% I agree with that. And the problem I don't like this truth and lie is that then, people can weaponize this because we're all going to say, not all, but most of us are going to say, we're the truth tellers. They're the liars. And this came up in a video recently. Alex Davinsky, he is a YouTuber.
The key to finding great
Ticker symbol U. It's a good channel. It's not great. I don't subscribe, but I do watch his videos every now and then. He has the Mr. Beast type face on his thumbnails, etc., etc. Uses a lot of hyperbole, right? I would not say he's a liar, though. I have learned things from his videos. I don't watch all of them, but every now and then I'll watch one. I usually get some decent amount of information. I understand he's not a fiduciary to me. He's not my, finance consultant. He has no responsibility to me. So I always take everything he says with a grain of salt. But I would have a hard time saying that his videos are outright lies, right? But he released this one video here where he admitted that he got paid beforehand by POET to review their company. And that did not sit well with me personally. So I said, I'm not going to watch this video because I don't really like the idea that he was paid by Poet to do it. But he did disclose it to me up front, which I appreciate. And he did say that, his opinion was going to be unbiased. They didn't control his opinion, which I am skeptical of, because I know that personally someone was paying me. Allegedly, I heard it's $47,000 they was paid. It's allegedly. I don't know. I don't have the contract. But if someone paid me $47,000, I would have probably a harder time saying bad things about them. It might influence me a little bit. Whether it could influence him or not, I don't know. I didn't watch the video. Now, some people on YouTube are taking great offense to this, and they're talking about this. And I even saw someone that said, he's pumping the stock. And I even thought of getting some Poet after seeing it, because I was like, this kind of feels like a little bit of a stock pump. He has 400,000 people. Poet isn't heavily traded. And sure enough, this was released 11 days ago. If you look at this, it would have been released this weekend here, 20th and 23rd, right? So it was this weekend, and then went up, right? So when the market just opened up, it went up. 54% in the last month, right? That's pretty darn good. $200 million stock prior, gained $100 million after this. If Poet did that for $50,000, that's the best $47,000 they ever spent. $100 million in their company. But now, to be fair, I am a little suspect of this. I just have a hard time seeing a guy like, that's not that large of a channel. 400,000. I mean, it's large, but I guess the trading on this isn't that much. I mean, prior is only 783K, but to be able to have that much influence, does Alex have that much influence? That's a little odd. It seems a little weird to me. Maybe he does. Maybe I'm not giving him enough credit, but I don't know if he'd want this kind of credit, because people will say, oh, this is a pump, but I don't know. It's hard to say. Now, Chris Norland, he definitely thinks it's a pump.
Hi, friends.
He brings this comment in from a guy on Alex's channel. The guy says the following. Chris will read it to you.
Welcome back. So this is a comment coming in from Tenant Rep Guru just yesterday. It says, you violated my trust. I had recommended your channel. You sold your credibility and did so cheaply. A man's reputation is worth more than 47K. Goodbye. And this was actually on the YouTube channel, ticker symbol U.
So this guy said this, violated my trust. Okay, so you're building a trust with your user. He told this guy he was going to get paid right up front. He told everybody in the video he's going to get paid. That he was paid for that. Recommended your channel. You sold your credibility. I mean, are you selling out by accepting that? Like, these are things I personally wonder about. Okay. I don't think Alex is a liar. I think he uses a lot of hyperbole, definitely. So I think, he talks about the things that people want to hear about, right? He definitely is telling people what they want to hear, and he's telling it to them in a very enthusiastic way that they want to hear it. But to say he's out, that he sold his credibility just so cheaply, $50,000 is a lot of money for one thing. Your man's reputation, and kind of implying his reputation's ruined. Like, these seem like kind of harsh words. I don't know. Like when I saw that, I was just like, I don't like it personally, but it is what it is.
Talking about this the last couple of days, he was paid to pump stocks.
Paid to pump the stocks,
Alex replies, his name is Alex Davinsky. Alex replies,
I mean, is that what it is? Am I being naive here? Was he paid to pump the stock? Possibly, right?
Sorry to hear that.
So then he goes on, Alex isn't as nice to other
Shame
people.
saw the easy cash and took it, unsubscribed. Alex just gives him a wave. And Alex has been getting a lot of waves to a lot of people, or saying some sort of, ludicrously, reply to them, etc. But that's who Alex is. He's kind of a jerk.
Now, I like Chris Norland. He's like me. He's analytical. He's skeptical. And he's working on positivity. That's what my life is about. But here, when he calls Alex a jerk, I have a hard time with that, especially over this, right? This guy's writing into your channel, says this. He's giving them a wave, right? If I wrote this to Alex and he gave me a wave, I don't think I would take this as being jerkish, because he's actually taking the time, reading my comment, and responding. And he's not saying GTFO or FU, right? He's giving a wave. So he's like, okay, goodbye. You know, that isn't to me that jerkish, because again, he's taking the time out of his day to read my comment and respond. So it's having some effect on him. And he's not rudely writing back. So I guess that's up in the air. Now, I'm not going to go too much more into Chris's video. You can watch it. But notice this right here. So Chris is going to discuss the rules here, and then he's going to just say something very interesting.
Tell the truth to those who want the truth, and you'll make a living. Tell the truth to those who want to be lied to, and you'll go broke. So me, myself, I tend to be number 2. Tell the truth to those who want the truth, and you'll make a living, right? But it's very true. If you're on YouTube, if you're willing to lie, or if you're Elon Musk, right? As an example, the CEO of Tesla that can lie about his products all the time, you can become absolutely rich.
Okay. So first of all, right, the insinuation there is that Alex, he's saying on YouTube, at least I believe he's saying that Alex is lying. Again, I have a really hard time with this. I've watched not a ton of Alex's videos, but I've watched some of them. I don't think I would classify him as a liar. I definitely would classify him as strong hyperbole. And so when I come back to this, I think you tell people what they want to hear. Those who are better at telling them exactly what they want to hear with more hyperbole, especially to an audience that is looking for very specific things, that's the way to get rich. That's how, and I mean, you can't word it like that, but that's what it is. So you have people like me who were wishy-washy, we change our minds and things, we're highly skeptical of even ourselves. And so you tell us what we want to hear, and it's like, yeah, you'll do okay, but you're not going to do that great, because then I'm going to be like, well, I don't know about this, I don't know about that, I don't even know what I think, whatever I think today, I'm going to analyze it tomorrow, and it's going to be the opposite. You're not going to do very well. Right? You'll make a living, but you got somebody who's very, they're looking for something, and they want to be a part of something, and you speak to them, and you tell them what they want to hear and the way they want to hear it, and you're very enthusiastic about it, and you're going to do well. Okay, does that mean you're lying? That's tough. I don't know. When I say this, I don't have the answer. Okay. I'm just asking you. Okay. And so then you notice he also said Elon Musk. Now, Elon Musk, of course, you could look through. He's been promising FSD. This is my best. This is my favorite quote. January 2016, in 2 years, someone should work anywhere connected by land and not blocked by borders, e.g. you're in LA and the car's in New York. October 2016, by the end of next year, said Musk, Tesla, that's 15 months, Tesla would demonstrate a fully autonomous drive from, say, a home in LA to Times Square without the need for a single touch, including the charging. I mean, that is just great. This is, where is it? Down here is another great one. We could May 2019. We could have gamed an LA NY autopilot during last year, but when we do it this year, everyone with Tesla full self-driving will be able to do it too. Okay, so listen, this is quasi Elizabeth Holmes level stuff in some ways. Elon is not an engineer. He desperately wants to be seen as an engineer. That's why, Tesla, the company, all this stuff, this session with Iron Man. He's not. He is a genius businessman. He's a good entrepreneur, but he's not an engineer. He's not an inventor. Okay, he's not Tesla. Tesla died broke, so Elon should be happy because Elon likes money. Elon's like, yeah, I'm going to take this money and further. He doesn't care. He just wants the money for himself. That's my thoughts. You guys can have your own thoughts. I don't think there's anything wrong with that though, because, he, to me, is a good businessman. And a lot of people might argue that, okay, they would say he's a liar. There's some evidence that in 2016, engineers said that they knew that FSD had a hard time just staying in lane. And Elon said he was in charge of the team, so he should know that, right? June 2016, consider autonomous driving a solved problem, right? So you could say he's definitely lying here. But what if you believe your own lies? Then it's just really strong hyperbole. Really strong hyperbole. And it kept Tesla going. If it wasn't for all those lies he had said, or all that strong hyperbole, whatever you want to call it, lies or strong hyperbole, if he hadn't done that, Tesla probably wouldn't be around. And when you look at this, you know, he has to keep doing it, because when we look at Tesla's charts, I mean, they've stalled. Like this is an erratic quarter. They had some kind of weird write-in. So you can't really include this. Otherwise, without the write-in for this quarter, I think they actually had less revenue, net income than the other quarter. They wrote about all this in their disclosure. So really, they've been on a downtrend for 6 to 7 quarters now. Everything is kind of stalled out for growth, right? And so if you're in this stock, right, you need this guy to keep pumping the stock, right? And he does that. He does what he has to do. Okay. When anything, you know, this whole thing, right? This whole robo-taxi, again, just the spectacle. He is going to throw whatever shiny object he has to keep this company afloat. And I don't necessarily, you know, is that a bad thing? I mean, I'm not the lawmaker here. I'm not the one that runs the law, right? So if he's running afoul of the law, then isn't it up to them to control him? But otherwise, you know, he's just trying to keep this company going, right? And if he's telling people that want to hear this stuff, right, and he's convincing those people, and they're never going to sell, you know. And so this article is talking about how the next Tesla is going to be, the robo-taxi unveiling is going to be short on details. Well, of course it's going to be short on details. And more people are getting used to that. And they know now that anything Elon says, if he says it's going to come next year, then that means really it's going to be 5 or 6 years from now. But apparently they do think a $25,000 car might come out, which would be a big deal. But, you know, so the whole thing here is this that I'm trying to say is that when a guy like Chris comes out and he's saying this, I don't really like that. It's not that I dislike Chris, but it's the whole point of, hey, I'm a truth teller, and this other guy, he's a liar. And yeah, I do okay, but this, you know, this other guy, he's making his money, but it's because he's a liar. I don't really like that. Okay. I'm not going to argue it though directly. Okay. Because it's hard to, right? I would just say that it's hard to say what is the truth and what is a lie. Okay. And then it's hard to say if something's wrong or right. Okay. If you have people who want to hear something and you're telling them hyperbole that fits if you're telling them a narrative that fits the story they're desiring, then what is wrong with that? Okay. Elon has built a cult of Tesla followers, just like BTC has created a cult. BTC would have failed in 2014, 2013 if they didn't change the narrative. They changed the narrative from being this technological, you know, wonder, which it wasn't. That was around the time when the community started realizing, hey, we need a different solution, some of us. But then the ones that were in it were like, no, we're sticking in Bitcoin. We're sticking this out because it makes us money. Let's change it to a store of value. Let's make it a cult like gold. And they did it. Okay. And what's wrong with that? What is wrong with that? I think the people like who think this stuff, who, you know, and I have this thinking too, I don't know that we're right. Okay. If you think something's wrong with that, I mean, there's definitely boundaries that get crossed. Okay. But if you're telling people, if these people want to hear the hyperbole, right? So Elon goes and he's going to say, I'm going to have Optimus Prime and it's going to be worth $50 billion. And you believe that and you want to believe that, right? Then that's between you and Elon. Okay. It's none of my business, right? It's kind of how I look at it. And if I'm a Tesla investor and it keeps the stock price up, then that's good for me, isn't it? Like, how is that a bad thing for me if it keeps the stock price up? Right? So I don't know. I struggle with this because I find myself in this land here. But I also can see people up here. I don't want to just call them outright liars. Because it feels like anybody that has some kind of moderate amount of success, then you can say, oh, they lied, and you can just detract from them. And that's what I don't like about it. Right? You know what I mean? Really, what you're doing is you're just making a scale of who caters to their audience better. Okay? If you're some crazy political nut job like Tim Pool, then you got to say crazy political nut job type of stuff. You know, if you're Alex Jones, you got to, you say this crazy stuff. Every now and then you cross a line legally, and, you got to pay the price. And so the further you get up into this hyperbolistic thing, the problem about it is it isn't boring. And so you start crossing boundaries, and maybe you're going to get in trouble. But, until that happens, I'm not the judge of that. So I don't know. A very interesting thing. I'm not trying to go one way or the other. I do think Chris was a little unfair with Alex Davinsky. I don't think that he necessarily lies to people. Personally, I didn't watch the video because I was just like, yeah, this feels weird. I don't want an influenced opinion, but I didn't think bad of Alex, I mean, it's $47,000. That's a lot of money, I am a little shocked at the 50% stock increase. I'm a little shocked if that was caused by Alex. I don't know that he has that much influence. Maybe they had a campaign set up and had other influencers. But yeah, this is interesting stuff. So tell me what you think down below. This has really kind of got my mind aflame about truth, what is truth, the nature of truth, etc., etc. Okay, that's all I got for you today. Have a great day.